It's 6:20 on the 20th of July 2025. 380 nautical miles southwest of Manila, the USS Sampson cuts through a gray, restless South China Sea. Inside CIC, radar screens bloom with unknown tracks, low, steady, and closing fast. Alarms blare, red lights flash, sailors rush into position. Sonar picks faint cavitation off the port bow. ESM spikes someone's painting them. The captain steps to the plot. Identify and hail. No response. Outside, faint flashes dance across the horizon, too regular for lightning. The officer of the deck narrows his eyes. "These aren't waves," a petty officer mutters, their eyes watching back. Engines rise to combat power. The ship turns into the wind, crew bracing for what comes next. On the net, voices count ranges and bearings, each number crisp as a metronome. Flight deck crews snap on cranials and float codes. The MH-60R team sprints into the rotor arc. A deck chief slaps the fuselage twice. Fuel good, weapons safe, chains off. Rotors begin to blur. The next minute will decide who fires first and who is only a position on the chart when the sun comes up. In the South China Sea, cargo ships move like blood through the world's trade arteries, fuel, food, and microchips that keep economies alive. The USS Sampson patrols here to guard that flow. A single destroyer carrying the weight of policy, promises, and pride. Her mission: ensure no one ally or rival closes these lanes by force. Across the water, a Chinese Type 52D destroyer, the Xiamen, mirrors her course. Its radars sweep in long arcs, its missiles hidden but ready. Both captains know the rules: no shots unless fired upon, but both also know how quickly defense can look like provocation. Inside Sampson's CIC, the tension hums. Every beep could mean a mistake. Every silence could hide a trap. Reports flood in unknown signals near an island reef. Maybe civilian, maybe not. The US Navy has seen this pattern before. Converted trawlers, carrying sensors instead of nets, creeping too close to military routes. If Sampson turns away, it looks weak. If she acts, it looks like war. The line between those two choices is thinner than the radar trace on the screen. On deck, the MH-60R crew readies for launch. Its job is simple: get eyes on the target, fast. The captain watches the sea through reinforced glass, knowing this is the moment headlines are born. A single missile could cost millions and change the next decade of policy. As the helicopter's rotors thunder to life, the first streak of light breaks the morning clouds. One ship watches another, each waiting for a reason. Who's right to pull the trigger first? The one defending open waters or the one guarding its claim? Comment 1 if you stand with the Sampson, 9 if you believe the Xiamen is in the right. 6:37. The MH-60R Seahawk lifts off from Sampson's deck, rotors slicing through humid air. Reaper 1 airborne, commencing surface search. Below, the destroyer steadies on course, radar sweeping wide, guns trained low. Through the haze, the crew spots movement: a small vessel, gray hull, no flag, drifting near a reef. Supposedly a fishing trawler, but its deck bristles with antennas and satellite dishes. The co-pilot mutters, "That's no trawler." Back aboard Sampson, the contact flashes on radar: metallic, active emissions. ESM confirms it's transmitting. Reaper 1, confirm intent. Hail them. The captain orders. Unidentified vessel. This is the United States Navy destroyer Sampson. You are operating in restricted waters. Respond immediately. No reply. The ship turns slightly, its signal output spiking like it's scanning back. They're feeding, targeting data, the captain says. Weapons release authorized if threatened. Moments later, the contact's radar cuts out. Then a flash on deck. Missile launch. Possible YJ-18 signature. Countermeasures active. Sampson rolls hard to starboard. Decoys fire off the stern, flares streaking across the dawn. The missile misses too high, splashing short of the bow. Target confirmed hostile. Fire harpoon, 1 round. The destroyer shudders as the RGM-84 harpoon launches, smoke trailing over the water. Weapon away. Tracking true. 30 seconds later, impact. The explosion tears through the horizon. White flash, black smoke. Wreckage sinks fast. Twisted metal glowing beneath the waves. Estimated loss: $58 million in surveillance gear. Silence follows. The Seahawk circles once, filming the debris. Target neutralized. No survivors visible. No one celebrates. The captain stares at the fading blip. Log the event. New contacts blink on radar. Low, fast, multiple. ESM flags, a distant search radar, and a short burst of data link traffic. Surface combatant to the northwest, CIC reports. Likely Type 50, 2D, possible air group inbound. Reaper 1, extend search. Bridge, come right 5 degrees. The captain orders. The ship turns slowly, engines rising. VLS cells stay sealed, but SM2 go hot. The horizon still smokes from the last strike. The captain exhales. "We're not done here," he says. Then, on the net, all stations brace for the next wave. 7:05 分. The South China Sea is no longer quiet. Radar screens pulse red with new contacts, multiple aircraft, low altitude, closing fast. CIC chatter rises to a tight rhythm. Angels 15, closing to 90 miles. Launch chaff. Stand by SM2. The captain orders. The ship heels slightly as launchers elevate. Overhead, Reaper 1 climbs higher, sensors scanning beneath the clouds. 2J16 confirmed, inbound from the north, comes the report. They're armed. Maintain track, do not engage unless fired upon. The rules are clear, but so is the risk. A tremor runs through Sampson's hull as another wave rolls beneath. Outside, the sea darkens steel gray, cut by white spray. The smell of fuel and cordite lingers. Reaper 1, mark hostiles. CIC calls. Transmit feed direct to command. The crew moves with tight precision, but behind the calm, hearts pound. This isn't a drill. Deploy countermeasures, the captain orders. The ship pivots hard to port, guns spinning skyward. Bursts of 20mm tracers carve orange arcs. A missile dives, chasing heat. CIWS roars steel against vapor. The blast blooms just above the bow. Good hit! 1 down second inbound, bearing 085. Engage! SM2, 1 round, fire! The missile streaks upward, a bright lance across the dawn. 10 seconds later, another explosion far ahead. Cheers ripple, but the captain cuts them short. Stay sharp, we're not done. Fuel fumes and smoke drift over the deck. The radar quiets for now, but everyone knows the next wave is coming, and it won't just be planes. Chinese destroyers are closing fast, their wakes bright on satellite feeds. Far to the west, a heavier wake appears, likely a Type 055 easing forward with its escort. Link 1, 6 lights with Allied watchers. Someone is listening, counting, recording. The bridge repeats the ROE over the net, word for word, as if the phrasing itself could hold the line. Jammers whisper on the spectrum. The noise floor crawls higher. The XO leans in. "Sir, this is escalating fast." The captain exhales. "Then let's be the calm before the storm." Who would you trust to hold the line when the sky itself turns into the battlefield? Comment 1 if you stand with the crew of the Sampson. 9 if you think the shaman has the right to strike back. 7:18分. The radar picture shifts again. Dozens of small returns flicker at the edge of range, too low for jets, too fast for ships. CIC hesitates. Drones? Confirmed count, the captain says. Over 30, sir. Surface skimmers tight formation. Silence fills the bridge. Drones mean swarm tactics. Cheap, fast, deadly. Each small, but together they can flood any defense. Reaper 1. Climb and observe. Find the control ship. The helicopter banks east. Below, the sea ripples with metallic dots darting like silver fish. Targets confirmed unmanned, the pilot reports. Fast movers, likely launched from a reef or disguised barge. The captain nods grimly. CIWS full auto. Prioritize closest pairs. Gun crews lock in. The deck hums with tension. Sensors feeding data faster than humans can react. Seconds later, the first drones enter range. Engage! The CIWS screams to life. Tracers rake the water. 2 drones vanish in fire, but others break through, zigzagging through spray and smoke. Harpoons can't track that low, the XO warns. Then we adapt, the captain replies. Manual fire control, local override. Deck gunners swing into action, aiming by sight. One drone explodes off the port wake too close. Another dives under radar, skimming low toward the stern. Contact portside range 300 yards. Fire. A thunderous burst follows. Salt and smoke wash the deck. Two sailors hit the deck, then scramble back to their stations. Through the haze, the sky glows orange. 20 drones remain, splitting into two groups. CIC calls bearings in rapid bursts. The captain grips the console. If they flank us, we're done. Reaper 1 status? Still scanning weight. Large contact near the reef. Possible control vessel. Captain doesn't hesitate. Tag and transmit. Command needs this live. Then to his crew, hold this line. 7:29分. The sea burns. Smoke curls over the horizon as the swarm closes in. 20 drones become 15, then 10 diving and weaving like predators tasting blood. "Sizz reloading!" someone yells. The captain's eyes flick to the ammo counter too slow. "Bridge, starboard gunners take manual control!" The ship turns sharply, spray lashing the deck. Sailors brace, shouting bearings through the roar. Targets port side, closing to 200 yards. Fire everything you've got. The deck erupts. 25mm rounds shred 3 drones in seconds. One detonates midair, another slams into the sea. A third explodes too close, shockwaves hammer the hull. Damage control to forward section. The XO barks orders. Water floods the bow, bulkheads seal. The ship keeps moving wounded, alive. SM-2 reload complete. SIC reports. New wave bearing 170, low altitude, 4 contacts. Engage. Ripple fire, 2 missiles. The VLS hatches open. Twin missiles roar skyward, their trails slicing through smoke. Seconds later, 2 orange blooms on the horizon. Splash 4 confirmed, a voice calls. Relief lasts 1 breath, then another blip appears. Last drone closing fast, 045, range 100 yards. CIWS lock. Nothing. Jammed, the crew freezes. A gunner grabs manual control, sights the blur through smoke. Firing manual. The deck jolts. Sparks flash across the drone's hull, it veers. Clips the rail. Detonates off the starboard beam. The blast rocks Samson. Seawater and shrapnel raining across the deck. Silence. Only the hiss of waves and smoke curling into dawn. Fires contained, a voice reports. Engines stable, hull secure. The captain looks east, toward the rising sun cutting through haze. Status of Reaper 1? Still airborne, sir. Tracking the control vessel. He nods slowly. Then we're not finished yet. The crew stands among scorched steel, soot, and silence. They've survived, but for how long? If the control ship lives, the swarm will return. Who should strike first now, the one defending open seas, or the one claiming them as its own? Comment 1 if you believe the Samson must finish the fight. 9 if you think the shaman deserves to respond. 7:55分. The sea finally settles. Waves lap against Samson's scarred hull, hissing where molten metal meets salt water. Smoke drifts low across the deck, carrying the smell of fuel, sweat, and victory that feels far too quiet. Damage report complete, the XO says. Hull intact, moderate flooding forward. No fatalities. The captain nods but doesn't smile. Around him, the crew works in silence, checking lines, washing blood from the deck, sealing holes with temporary welds. The adrenaline fades, leaving only exhaustion and the echo of gunfire still ringing in their heads. On the main display, Reaper 1's feed shows the reef below a smoldering wreck, what remains of the control vessel. Mission accomplished, at least for now. Send the footage to command, the captain orders. They'll want proof. Moments later, the message reaches the fleet. Across secure networks, screens flicker in war rooms from Pearl Harbor to the Pentagon. Analysts replay the attack frame by frame, counting impacts, measuring escalation. Half a world away, in a different briefing room, another flag officer watches the same footage. The Chinese admiral says nothing, just gestures toward the map of the South China Sea. New orders are typed and sent. Type 055 and carrier group to advance south. The captain of Samson steps outside. The sun has burned through the haze, painting the ocean gold. He can see the faint silhouette of Shaman far off on the horizon, still there, watching. "This isn't over," he murmurs. Below deck, the crew cleans weapons and rechecks seals. No one knows when the next contact will come, only that it will. The tension now isn't fear, it's acceptance. They've crossed a line, and both sides know it. For the US, Samson's stand proves resolve. For China, it proves the risk is worth testing. The world holds its breath, waiting for which side moves first. And somewhere in that stillness, a simple question hangs over the open sea. Who will push next, the guardian of open waters or the claimant of control? Comment 1 if you believe peace can hold. 9 if you think the next shot is inevitable. It's 4:20 a.m. on the 18th of June 2025. In the South China Sea, 140 nautical miles southwest of Mischief Reef, the USS Gerald R. Ford carrier group suddenly picks up dozens of fast-rising radar tracks. Alarms punch through the ship. Red lights flood the passageways. Sailors grab helmets, slam hatches, and sprint to battle stations. On the flight deck, crews crouch behind tie-downs as the night sky flashes. Far off, thin orange needles fall toward the sea. Chinese DF-21D ballistic missiles and CJ-10 cruise missiles already inbound. The air smells of jet fuel and salt. Radios crackle. Weapons free. Aegis screens bloom with threat icons. Missiles are ranked by speed and angle, so the closest killers die first. On the bridge, the captain says one word: engage. Rails shudder as interceptors leap from the escorts. If the layers hold long, then medium, then close, the carrier lives. If one warhead punches through, steel tears, fire spreads, and the Navy's most advanced ship could vanish before sunrise. In the South China Sea, shipping lanes cut through one of the busiest highways on Earth. Every day, tankers and freighters move oil, grain, and semiconductors that keep stores stocked and factories running back home. The USS Gerald R. Ford Carrier Group patrols here to guard those lifelines and steady partners who live within missile range of disputed reefs. The job looks simple, but it's brutal. Keep sea lanes open while a rival probes every seam. Tonight, that rival is China's PLA, firing DF-21D anti-ship missiles and CJ-10 cruise missiles from H-6 Kelvin's bombers. This patch of ocean, 140 nautical miles southwest of Mischief Reef, is where one wrong call could shake global prices in days. For the crew, the stakes are human first. If defenses fail, steel shatters and fire spreads in seconds. If a supercarrier goes down, it's not just a ship, it's a signal to every capital from Tokyo to Manila about who sets the rules. Insurance premiums rise, captains reroute vessels, freight costs climb, and the price of a phone, a car part, or a bag of rice ticks up for families far from this sea. Allies watch to see if Washington can still protect the commons. Rivals watch for hesitation. This night is also a test of economics. America built layered shields, Aegis destroyers, fighters on the roof, subs in the deep, each meant to swat fast threats. But defenders spend billions to beat cheaper missiles, and that math favors the attacker. The question is endurance. Can the carrier group hold the shield long enough to break the assault, or does sheer volume land a kill? Drop a quick 1 or 9 in the comments. US carriers hold the line, or Beijing's missiles punch through, and if you want part 3, that single digit keeps you with us. 4:32 a.m. The first alerts fade into the rhythm of action. The Ford's escorts USS John Finn and USS Halsey light off their vertical launch cells. Dozens of SM-3 interceptors roar upward, streaking into the black sky to meet the incoming wave. Each shot is calculated to kill the most dangerous track, buying precious seconds for the carrier behind them. The radar picture looks like a storm, icons multiplying, splitting, then vanishing in bursts of static as hits register. The first few intercepts work. Bright flashes mark ballistic missiles detonating in the upper atmosphere. Yet the screen fills again, new salvos arcing over the horizon, cruise missiles hugging low over the waves. CJ-10 skim barely above the water, forcing defenders to track them against sea clutter. The destroyers switch to SM-6, optimized for low-flying threats. Flares bloom, then fade, as warheads vanish. But more survive. On the Ford's flight deck, F-35C pilots race to their cockpits. Cats launch in quick rhythm, afterburners glowing. Fighters climb to meet bombers still circling hundreds of miles out. Their job, thin the herd before more missiles leave Chinese wings. Within minutes, the first intercepts hit home stealth jets, slash into H-6 Kelvin's formations, firing AMRAAMs that drop bombers before they can release a second load. Meanwhile, deep underwater, the fast attack subs USS Illinois and USS Missouri slide into firing position. Their tubes launch Tomahawk counterstrikes toward radar stations on Hainan and missile sites along the coast. Each launch is a message. Attacks won't go unanswered. Explosions ripple across the Chinese mainland as command centers and storage bunkers ignite. Back near the carrier, chaos narrows. A few DF-21D survive long enough to dive steeply toward the fleet. SM-6 rise to meet them. One explodes high, but another dives through the net. The warhead detonates close aboard. A thunderclap shaking the Ford. Shrapnel rakes the hull, injuring sailors topside, but the armor holds. No ship is lost. The defense bends but does not break. By 5:10 a.m., more than 50 missiles have been fired and 50 have been stopped. The surface of the sea glows with wreckage, debris floating in burning slicks. Smoke trails crisscross the dawn sky. Sailors breathe, but only for a heartbeat. Everyone knows this was just the first round. 5:40 a.m. The second wave comes in lower, faster, and meaner. Several Chinese drones and cruise missiles slip past the first curtain of defenses. The destroyers fire again, launchers glowing as SM-2 leaps skyward. But the radar picture stays crowded. The crew feels the tempo quicken. The enemy isn't just testing, they're pressing. Ford adjusts course by a few degrees, shrinking its silhouette against the swarm. The move tightens angles for defense, less broadside, more narrow target. Guns across the escorts come alive. Phalanx systems spitting tracers into the sky. Some missiles break apart in orange blossoms. Others keep driving straight. High overhead, a Hawkeye spins, pushing new bearings to every console. Decoys bloom chaff, flares, and Nulka rockets dragging seekers wide while CRAM crews guard the last 100 yards. On the bridge, tension is measured in heartbeats. Sailors call out impact times, counting down in seconds. The captain's voice cuts through. Stay on it. The sea fills with explosions, water plumes shooting high as near misses slam in. The ship rides shockwaves, steel groaning with each hit nearby. Damage control teams stand ready with hoses and patch kits. Inside CIC, operators fight the clock. Jammers pour noise into seeker bands. SPY-1 arrays shift modes to hold low flyers against clutter. Track managers hand off targets in sequence, avoiding gaps. Link 1-6 chatters, welding escorts, fighters, and the Hawkeye into one picture. Every clean handoff saves a missile for the next threat. Above, FA-18E race to cut off leakers. Pilots dive, dropping bombs on drones, skimming the waves. Each success buys the carrier another breath. Each miss brings the enemy closer. The crew knows. If even one warhead hits, the mission unravels. Magazines aren't bottomless. Every intercept burns money and minutes. Yet the defense holds. Layer after layer, the shield bends but does not break. Still, the sailors see it, China will spend missile after missile, drone after drone to land one strike. And that raises the question for everyone watching. Which side runs out first, America's defenses or Beijing's arsenal? If you think the US keeps holding, hit 1-inch the comments. If you believe sheer volume will break through, hit 9 and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss part 5 when the twist arrives. 6:15 a.m. Just as the Ford sailors think the storm is easing, the picture changes. Radar picks up dozens of new contacts, smaller, faster, and hugging the surface. These aren't the big ballistic arcs or lumbering cruise missiles. They're sea-skimming drones packed with explosives, launched in swarms from disguised fishing vessels and low-flying bombers. Harder to see, harder to kill. The crew realizes the shift instantly. Ballistic interceptors won't help here. These threats are coming in under the radar horizon, popping up with only seconds to spare. The captain orders close-range defenses to full alert. Phalanx CIWS turrets spin. Ram crews grip triggers, and every lookout is told. Eyes on the water. The first swarm arrives fast. Tiny silhouettes skim the waves, weaving unpredictably. Gunners open up, tracers slashing the dawn. Some drones burst apart, spraying metal shards into the sea. Others press forward, forcing last-ditch intercepts. The ship jerks hard to port, maneuvering to spoil incoming tracks. Every second counts. Above, F-35C drop low, using cannons and smart bombs to thin the pack. One pilot radios. Too many, too low. The fight shifts from long-range intercepts to a knife fight on the water's edge. Damage control teams brace, knowing even a single drone detonation on the hull could cripple systems. The twist is clear. China isn't just throwing missiles. They're layering weapons, long-range killers, then swarms of cheap expendables designed to saturate defenses. It's a brutal math problem. For every billion-dollar carrier, the other side spends pennies on drones. The US must adapt or risk bleeding resources dry. 6:45 a.m. The last wave closes in. Dozens of sea-skimming drones, the survivors of earlier barrages, dart straight at the fort's formation. There's no time left for long-range missiles. This is point-blank combat. CIWS mounts thunder, spitting streams of depleted uranium rounds. Tracers carve across the sky, stitching the dawn with lines of fire. One drone erupts in a fireball, another slams into the sea, but more weave through. The ship shudders under violent maneuvers, spray covering the bow as steel grinds against the waves. Inside CIC, every console screams with warnings. Operators juggle dozens of inbound tracks, shifting targets in split seconds. Ram batteries launch, trails curling low across the water before detonating against fast-moving shapes. The noise is deafening, the pace relentless. On deck, sailors duck behind cover as gunners keep their barrels hot. One drone explodes so close that shrapnel rains across the flight deck, tearing into parked equipment. Fire crews race forward, foam spraying to smother burning fragments. Yet the deck remains operational. Jets keep launching, climbing into the smoke-stained morning. Bridge teams switch some mounts to local control as sensors glaze with salt. Medics haul two injured sailors below. Both are conscious. EOD sweeps hot fragments off the deck to keep catapults clear. The battle turns chaotic. One drone makes it through, diving hard. A burst of tracers rips it apart barely 50 yards from the hull. The blast knocks sailors off their feet, the shockwave rattling bulkheads, but the carrier survives. Another drone slips into range, destroyed in a flash by a phalanx mount, firing its last belt of ammunition. Minutes stretch into eternity. Then, silence. The sky clears, smoke drifts, the horizon is empty. The Ford still floats, scarred but unbroken. Its escorts circle tight, their magazines nearly dry. Crews exhausted, but the line has held. The climax has shown both sides the truth. Technology, training, and raw willpower can hold back even overwhelming swarms, but only just. And that leaves the question for you. In a fight this close, who really wins? Drop a 1 if you think America's layered defense proves unbeatable, or a 9 if you believe sheer numbers will one day overwhelm it, and hit subscribe so you're here when the aftermath unfolds in Part 7. 7:30 a.m. The smoke thins over the South China Sea. Wreckage drifts across the waves, shattered drones, burned out missile casings, and oil slicks reflecting the first light of day. The USS Gerald R. Ford still floats at the center of its formation, scarred but alive. Its escorts circle close, some with empty launch cells, others with guns still hot to the touch. Sailors stagger from their stations, exhausted, yet knowing they've just fought the hardest battle of their lives. Result: the U.S. shield held. China's much-feared carrier killers failed to land a decisive blow. For Washington, it is proof that layered defenses work under fire. For Beijing, it is a painful reminder that strategy on paper can crumble against training, coordination, and relentless will. Billions of dollars in missiles and aircraft are gone in hours, and with them much of the rocket force's regional punch. But the cost is real. U.S. magazines are nearly drained, crews are stretched thin, and every intercept fired tonight will take months and millions to replace. The battle shows a brutal truth. Defense works, but it's expensive. Offense can be cheap, relentless, and disposable. That equation will shape every clash to come. Allies in Tokyo, Manila, and Canberra watch closely. Confidence in American resolve surges, but so does awareness of the price. NATO even issues a rare statement of support in the Pacific, a sign that this fight echoes far beyond these waters. At the same time, Beijing faces the blow of losing prestige. The carrier killer myth cracked in public view. Tonight, the carrier group held fast. The sea lanes stay open, but the rivalry is sharpened. And that leaves one last question. When the next wave comes double the drones, backed by shore-based missiles, who bends first? Drop a 1 if you believe America can still hold the line, or a 9 if you think Beijing will learn, adapt, and overwhelm. Either way, subscribe now so you don't miss the next episode when the conflict escalates.